The Behind the Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Do you want to save around 40% off Disney's prices for deluxe on-property accommodations? Contact dvc-rental.com. They help out Disney Vacation Club owners rent out points that they're not going to use. These points mean savings for you on your next trip at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Vero Beach, Florida, and Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. The DVC member books everything in your name, just like any other reservation. And if you ever decide that you want to become a DVC member, you can check out our sister company, BuyAndSellDVC.com. As a licensed realtor, they sell DVC contracts for members at a savings of 30 to 40% off Disney's prices. And if you're looking to sell your contract, BuyAndSellDVC.com has one of the industry's lowest commissions at only 6.5%. Again, that's DVC-rental.com for your rental needs, and BuyAndSellDVC.com to buy or sell into the Disney Vacation Club at a large discount. And make sure you tell them that the Behind the Ears podcast crew sent you. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, KingdomStrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from KingdomStrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact KingdomStrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's KingdomStrollers.com. Hey everybody, it's Mr. Chris, and I got to tell you about Expedition Roasters. Listen, I'm a pretty big coffee drinker, just like a lot of you are, but these people have got coffee right. Their coffees are made from selectively sourced premium and specialty grade Arabica beans. They provide the absolute best flavor and aroma, and select roast even come directly from a single estate farm for a truly perfect cup that is never bitter. They've got awesome Disney-inspired flavors such as Roundhouse Roast, Route 66, Skipper's Brew, Dark Side Roast, Redhead Rum, and one of my favorites, Bobsledder's Brew. Listen, if you want to have the taste of Disney in every cup, give them a try today. Expeditionroasters.com, and Behind the Ears podcast listeners gets an extra 20% off your first order by using the coupon code EARS20. That's right, EARS20. And you can find them over at expeditionroasters.com. Brew your happy place. You're listening to the Behind the Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently.
So YouTube can hear me. Oh, and Facebook can hear me. Okay. So all of you heard me and no one heard Chris's thing. Hey. Well, actually, I've been on the air the entire time, just so you know. Facebook nor YouTube picked it up.
All right. Well, your intro's over.
Welcome. Thanks for joining, everybody. This is Behind the Ears podcast. I'm Uncle Danny. That is Mr. Chris. And we just like to have a little bit of fun. Thank you to all our sponsors. Whether you heard Chris's intro that we have set up, or you heard me ramble in a very monotone voice like you were listening to NPR, either way, we thank all our sponsors for making this show possible. We are brought to you live by
Fly-by-night industries.
Uncle Danny's Tripod. We're coming to you live from the Uncle Danny's Tripod studio. I'm telling you, we need a sponsor for the studios. I'm telling you, it'd be killer.
The thing is, I don't know why that happened, the whole thing. And of course,
it happens sometimes.
It just happens once in a while. I'll blame Facebook just because everybody else does. Hi, Danny. It's great.
Hi, Chris.
It's great to see you. I'm sorry that we started off our show a little bit of a rocky thing, but hey,
I kind of liked it.
It was kind of fun, and yeah. Oh well, it's good to see everybody. So here's the funny part. While we were doing the little intro, there were some people that already had a few questions, and I'm kind of looking through the scroll here to see if for some reason those questions actually came up because someone asked, "Hey, could I ask a question?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Which I think I misspelled sure because I was typing really quickly.
You did, but I thought you were talking to me.
Oh, no. So, yeah, it's just like a really messy way to start the show today, and it's not really cool. So, but, like Nick said, it was old school, and everybody was able to hear you. No, they couldn't hear me. Mary wanted to know what was on the agenda tonight, and
we got some fun news to talk about.
Yeah, we do have some interesting news to talk about. And basically, Mary basically was telling you, hey, you're going to love DVC and you're going to get hooked, which, well, I know you already love DVC stuff, especially renting from dvc-rental.com. You had a really great experience with them so far. I think that's really cool. I think people really need to start paying a lot of attention to what their vacation budgets are, because quite honestly, I think they need to go and talk to Scott and see what he can do for them, because it's not too late to, in most cases, cancel your vacation and possibly even rebook and save some money or get better accommodations. I know it seems kind of rude to do in some ways, but man, I got hooked on DVC by renting DVC points the first time. So I think that is something for everybody to take in consideration. That's just me. So, why don't we go ahead, and I know you wanted to start off with some news. I'll let you go ahead and start off with some news. We do have some people making some other comments. We'll hold off on that in just a moment. So what would you like to hit on first?
So something that Chris, what are we calling him these days?
He is our local communications director.
So he posted this over on the WDW community Facebook page today, and it is coming directly from WDW News today. Tom Corliss, he's usually our go-to reporter. He does not work for us. I realized the way I said that sounded like it, but no. Tom Corliss has been somebody that Chris and I have both followed prior to even doing the show. It is someone that I consider to be, if there's a rumor out there and he picks it up, it tends to usually come to fruition some way. So I tend to trust what he's saying. But he basically wanted to talk today about the Innovations demolition permits filed, a character spot, Starbucks, Club Cool set to close. So I know that kind of brought some outrage up today about the whole Club Cool thing, but let's dive into this, and then we'll take your guys' questions on how we feel about some of the things. So the project is that Disney is calling this project Project Gamma, Gamma, and is about to get underway over at Epcot, a project that will include the reimagining of the Center of Future World, which we've talked about, the park's entrance, which we've talked about, and a rumored multi-year refurbishment of Spaceship Earth, which if you are on the WDW community Facebook page, then you will know what I'm talking about. If you're not, head on over there to join. Brian Sosha, who has been a listener of the show since almost day one, and somebody who is very active on the page, is a Florida local, and a Florida local. He's a Disney local. And someone who's really got his ear to the ground with a lot of things. He's very, very fun to follow him and read his stuff. He talked about the multi-year refurbishment and what we could see coming out of this. The first permits for the project have been filed, likely with the immediate closure of Innovations West and the overhaul of the park's entry plaza. The permits referred to as Project G, which is obviously short for Project Gamma. The permits also cite Innovations East in the name, but this is likely based on the close proximity of all those structures. Regardless of what the permit may pertain to specifically, all of the Innovations West building will be demolished in the very not too distant future. So hopefully I can get some pictures up there, some iconic pictures of standing out front of that building before they bring it down. I don't know if I'll make it in time because I'm sure they're going to start knocking it down.
Well, you only have a few weeks before you head down there, so there's a very good chance that you still have the ability to do some, striking of poses.
Yeah, Disney just tends to work quick sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
It's funny. Some things take for a while, and then all of a sudden, overnight, it's like they did 3 days of work overnight.
The scrims go up, and all of a sudden, you're like, wasn't this here? Yeah, it
Like, I
was.
just saw you had Christmas decorations on that building. Epcot character spot, the Fountain View Starbucks, boo, and Club Cool will also close before this happens sometime in the next year. Okay, well, I probably should have read that sentence before I went on that little tangent about I might not be able to see it. Most of the character spot meet and greets are rumored to be relocated to the Imagine Works, where they will join the Wreck-It Ralph and company. Meanwhile, Starbucks is rumored to take up the food service side of the upcoming Epcot Experience Center. You also might know this as the Odyssey, which is over between Future World and World Showcase. Most of the Innovations East is now expected to stay through the completion of Project Gamma, leaving the Mouse Gear and Electric Umbrella buildings in operation. Mouse Gear, pay attention to this, is slated for a major overhaul before the 50th anniversary in 2021. I will make a point on that one here in a second. And it is unclear how much will change at the Electric Umbrella during the course of the project. As for what will be replacing Innovations West, that remains unclear at the time. So I want to touch on that last part because now I have not seen it yet. So I'm only going by pictures. I'm only going by what people are saying. But if I had a guess, Mouse Gear is basically going to be what the name's escaping. What was the name of the store in Disney Springs that they just revamped?
Oh, World of Disney?
World of Disney. So you know how World of Disney was very lively and it had a lot of architecture and paintings to it. And now it is very sleek and modern. I'm not going to give it any bad names because I haven't been able to see it yet in person. So we're just going to stick with the word sleek and modern. I have a feeling that you're going to see a very streamlined style of shopping in Disney, and it will carry over into Epcot. That store does need work. Last time I was there was over a year ago at this point. I will say they cram a lot of stuff in that store, but the access way to get around things is not easy. And I don't think the flow works because, I mean, that is the main store in that park.
Right.
And it's outside of World of Disney. It's my store for a lot of things. So, I do feel a need coming. I do feel something that needs to be done in that one. I just hope they don't blah it down. The Innovations West being knocked down honestly has no. I've got no ill feelings towards it. Only solely because it hasn't been used.
It hasn't been used, and at the same time, let's look at this for a minute. So, I originally thought when they said they were going to tear down Innovations, I originally was thinking, oh, they're just going to basically take down those two parts where the intervention activities were at. And then I'm hearing, okay, they're going to take that down. There it means on that west side, they're going to take that down. They're going to take down where Starbucks is. They're going to take down where the meet and greet is. They're going to take down that back hallway. They're going to take down Club Cool, and they're going to basically redo that whole entire section. That's a lot. And you know that if they're going to do that, they're going to do something similar to the other side minus Mouse Gear. And someone told me this, or made the comment, that it really needs to be redone. I'm like, okay. And I kind of thought a little bit in a shallow manner. I was thinking, why don't they just use that space that's there now and just, reinvent it? And then I thought to myself, wait a second. Maybe they're going to have a whole bunch of other really cool things in store for it that actually need a whole new building to be able to accommodate it. Whether it be for pure size or infrastructure or technology or whatever, they're going to probably need to do something with it in order to fit whatever they've got plans for. So I had to think about it in a different light, even though I wasn't really excited about the idea of losing like Club Cool or Starbucks or anything else like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what that happens. I hope they don't mess around with Mouse Gear too much in a sense of the decorum, but let me ask you this. Don't you think the Musketeer is a little bit crowded?
Well, that was my main point. Yeah. It is crowded. I see Alex had brought up a good point. The register setup makes absolutely no sense.
Yep.
Like I said, like you miss so much of, I don't want to call them trinkets, but the smaller items they kind of just push right by the aisle, and you just miss a lot of that because you're always pushed to the outside of the store. They have a lot of great stuff. I just think the flow is so messed up. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And it's the thing of it is that even with the moderate traffic it gets, it can get really crowded. The funny part about it is, I thought the same thing about World of Disney. To me, World of Disney in its previous format, you could have 10 people in that store and it would feel crowded. And now they've opened it up. It's much more open to get from place to place. Even though a lot of people really don't like the decor, I actually like the ability to be able to get from point A to point B to find the merch that I would totally like. And Laura actually asked the question, does that mean that Mission Earth is gone as well? I believe you're probably referring to Spaceship Earth. And while Spaceship Earth is not going anywhere, it is scheduled for a very long refurb. And there's a lot of things that I think actually needs to happen for a good refurb for Spaceship Earth. It has been, it's been in its current format for quite some time. And while we all love it, the fact of the matter is it's due for a good change.
Can I ask something though? Why does that get the love, but Carousel of Progress can't get a modern day upgrade?
I don't know. Be honest with you, all joking aside, I think that's a great question. The thing is that Spaceship Earth has been there since obviously the very beginning of Epcot. It's gone through.
Carousel of Progress been there since opening day of Disney World, which is even older.
And actually, if you think about it, Carousel of Progress in of itself
is even older.
Has been around for decades. Period.
Yeah.
Even beyond that, and so it's just a case of. I definitely agree with you. I do think that Carousel needs a good revamp. We can talk about that there in a minute. But the whole idea behind Spaceship Earth needing a good refurb, it's starting to see a little bit of its age. But, let's face it, we all love Judi Dench. But I remember when Jeremy Irons used to do the narration. In fact, I was going through some old videos not too long ago, and I was listening to when I recorded it. I'm like, wait a second. Wow, that's not Judi Dench. That's right. That's Jeremy Irons. And the funny part is, every time I see Jeremy Irons in a movie, I have to stop and I just listen to his voice. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Spaceship Earth guy right there. And,
I do like what I'm hearing that's coming out of it, though.
What are you hearing, eh?
All right. So, and part of this, and I have to give credit where credit's due, part of this is what Brian wrote. Part of this is some of my own research. So things are definitely going to overlap. I'm not sure whose information I'm pulling off because I'm just talking. The part where you rotate backwards and you see all the stars, which I still think it's the optical illusion of those lights.
It is.
They always try to focus in and see the lights instead of the stars. I'm like, oh, come on. That is going to be more of an LED projection. So those lights should be taken away. They're talking about updating of some of the scenes. I had also heard of a possible new scene being put in there. I'm not sure how they would do it. Here's the thing, though, and this is something I would say, and I know it's been done, I want to say in the last decade. When was the last time they updated that ride?
It was a little over, probably about 10 years ago.
I think the screens need to be updated. And the whole little pick whether you want to live on the beach or in a city or be a spaceship, like that needs to just be updated. Because first of all, the camera's terrible.
Oh,
and those are some iconic pictures. Like I have pictures from years ago with me on that ride, like, with a cell phone and everything. I think there needs, now it's been a while since I've been on that ride. And I do have a fast pass for it this year. Can you photo pass that picture?
No.
You can't.
No,
so the only
you can't, but you can have it sent to your computer. I mean, you can have it sent to your email.
Okay. I think that should be added to the ride where you can swipe your swipe your Magic Band. The technology is not hard. It's there. It's easy to put in.
It was okay. Bailey actually was confirming it was about 10 years ago, 2009, when we got Judi Dench. So yeah, 10 years.
Okay, about a decade. So yeah. So I mean, it's still modern enough where it can be passed along. And I get for the people that maybe go once every couple of years, it's not a big deal. But I'm not even going to count the locals. Let's talk the eccentrics like Chris and myself who are there multiple times a year. You kind of like, I could definitely go for a new little image here. And that's not hard to do. It worries me that it's going to be closed for multiple years. What are you doing? I know they're talking about, that like bottom part blocking they have on the outside that looks like a building almost attached to it.
Yeah.
On the backside. That's all being taken away. And I really honestly believe, and they have not announced it, but I think they just don't want a cluster of people in the front of the park while they're trying to redo the front, take out the tombstones, and work on it. I think they want to force people in and not let people get jammed up right there.
Well, if you think about it, that's actually a very good point. I wouldn't doubt if that theory is 100% accurate. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you're probably going to see alternative pathways getting in there, and it is going to include skipping Spaceship Earth. And if you did, I mean, you're just going to have so many people. That will be a very congested area, and they're probably going to have to do the construction in the very entranceway there by the tombstones. They're going to probably have to do that in phases, because they're not going to be able to do that in such a way where they're going to have, a few thousand people at rope drop be able to handle that.
No, they'll probably move, but whatever. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just my brain's flowing. What happens if they just completely just shut down that entrance and force everybody to go into World Showcase?
Oh, bad idea.
Bad idea, but I'm not saying for an extended period of time.
I don't know even
I'm talking for a short window of like a week.
How in the heck fire would you even be able to do that?
All buses would be directed to them.
Oh my gosh. I realize that you're only talking speculative here, but that would just be
but there's no other way in the park.
Well, the thing is that you can actually go, okay, if you're looking at the turnstiles, go all the way to the left. And, enter in by where not guest services, but like there's that gift shop and everything all along that side. I see us going all the way back there alongside where Daisy meets the crowd right there with the Epcot backdrop.
You're walking through the exit.
Kind of, yeah. You're walking through the exit along the side where the camera store is and up that way. I see the traffic kind of being funneled up that way. And possibly the exact opposite side for where the stroller rentals are and stuff like that. That's how I see it happening. But I also see it kind of being done in a couple different ways. I feel like, maybe some days it's going to be one side, one day it's going to be the other side. Some days it'll be both. Exiting is going to probably be only one. It really is going to depend on the flow of the day, if you ask me. I honestly don't think they're going to be able to get away with moving that entrance unless there's another type of entrance that we don't know about.
I'm sure there's a cast member entrance somewhere. Hey, if you're a smoker and this and Chris's idea works, they're not going to let you smoke in that section by the bathrooms and the soda fountain right there when you get off the buses. So keep that in mind for our smoker friends.
It's one of those things that, interesting. Chris actually makes a comment. He goes, I wouldn't be surprised to see Guardians of the Galaxy open before the entrance and spaceship is started and make a new entrance by the Guardians ride. That's actually a very interesting thing. Although that would make for a heck of a walk, if you think about it.
You need new bus stops. How do you feel about Club Cool closing? Say permanently. Let's hypothetically speak that it's going to close permanently.
I realize that it's a cute venue, right? It's fun. You go there, you get a couple drinks, you try different things that you can't get anywhere else, period. And of course, you always got to fool somebody to drink Beverly. You kind of have to. And I will admit, I've been known to go ahead and purposely take a shot of Beverly and just say, hey, here we go. Here's my annual shot of Beverly. Punk, chug it down. And you always hear the stories about the people who do a Beverly challenge and about, 18 cups of Beverly into it. And they're really basically going to lose their dinner type of thing. And it's always fun. I mean, let's put it this way. People think Club Cool, they think Beverly. And I do know that you can get a lot of that over at the Coca-Cola store at Disney Springs. And, at the top of that is that little like a lounge bar-ish type of thing. But let's face it, you can't get it for free. And that's where Club Cool comes into play. I always enjoyed it because it was a nice place to get a quick sugary drink, boost your energy, take a quick break out of in the cold a little bit, away from the heat. I hope they bring it back because I would miss it. I'm not going to cry over it, but I would definitely miss it because I thought it was a cute little venue. That's my 2 cents. I know everybody would be like, it's kind of funny. Isn't it funny that nobody likes Beverly, but they all try it? And that would be the only place to really get it, like in the parks, unless you go downtown or Disney Springs. So I always found that to be kind of funny.
I found it absolutely hilarious when I was reading some of the posts today about people like freaking out about Club Cool closing. And I'm like, I can't tell you the last time I've been inside Club Cool. Like there's no reason for it. It's not. I never bought any of the merchandise. I don't particularly like any of their sodas. When I'm in Disney, I really don't drink a lot of soda. I don't drink it. I honestly don't drink soda really as that much. You can ask Lindsay. Now, I will say I do drink a lot of Canada Dry if I have it, because I just ginger ale is my life.
I like ginger.
But outside of that, when I go to the restaurant, like I'll have like a water and a soda. Like I drink a lot of coffee, but soda, like I'll nurse it because I know I don't get a lot of it. So especially when you're in Disney and it's super hot, I want iced coffee and I want water. That's all my body wants.
And I agree because it's like if you spend a lot of time in there and you suck back a lot of sugary soda, you're gonna probably get sick.
And you never get hydrated, so you're never quenching that thirst.
No, because it's gonna make you more thirsty. But you know what? If you spend 5 minutes in there and you grab one of your favorites, in fact, mine is Vegeta Beta, and
is that the watermelon one?
No, it's kind of more of I want to call it a flat vegetable type of flavor, carrot flavor. It's the orange one. It doesn't taste like oranges though.
Oh, okay.
It's really pretty good. I mean, I like it, and I like it because it's not really super duper sweet, but yet it's kind of thirst quenching.
I'm seeing this comment popping up a lot here. So Club Cool in Epcot is very different than the Coke store at Disney Springs.
Yeah.
Please keep that in mind. Don't think you're getting the same experience.
No.
Both offer very different things, but if you want Beverly or you want to try different funky flavors, not saying you can't try things at Disney Springs because you can, but Club Cool in Epcot is specifically to try, and it's for free.
Yeah.
And when you go to Springs, you are paying outside of a little bit of sampling.
You know what I really like to get there at Club Cool was that I used to get like the carabiner that has like the stretchy Mickey head that you're able to put it over a bottle and have it clipped to my camera bag. They would kind of break once in a while, not the rubber part, but the carabiner part. So it's like the cheapest $5 souvenir type of thing that I use all year round. And so I used to get that a lot too. And by the way, I know there are more than a few people that are kind of mentioning about the rumors on Star Wars. We'll get to that in just a minute. Trust me.
We got a lot to cover on Star Wars. So let's do some quick hitters here. Bollywood Beats is coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom. Will debut on March 3rd, bringing a traditional Indian dance together with the fire of Hindi film. Bollywood Beats will be presented several times a day at the stage across the street over in the theater over by Asia. So if you're looking for a little flair, something a little bit different, calling all our parents that have little girls. Disney Junior's Fancy Nancy is coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios. I love saying that. You have no idea. I got so excited, but I love the name. Congratulations.
I had to ask my wife. I'm like, honey, because I had to ask her, have you heard of Fancy Nancy? She's like, oh yeah, I know all about Fancy Nancy. I'm like, where? I mean, this is what happens when I, don't have a lot of time to watch TV or something like
Your
that.
kids are grown, so I really wouldn't expect a grown man to be watching.
No, but come on,
you,
hey, you still flip through the Disney Channel and you're still like,
do
hey,
you? No, I completely skip you, but you're big into the movie. I skip right past it.
I still flip through, and I don't necessarily watch a lot of it anymore. Actually, to tell you the truth, I've been watching like Gravity Falls on Hulu. Because that was epic. My son got me on Gravity Falls, and I'm just like, I just think that's great, but that's a whole different show.
The animation courtyard at Disney's Hollywood Studios will soon be home to Disney's Junior's Fancy Nancy. You will be able to find Nancy at all the new character greeting locations in the park's animation courtyard, where she'll be meeting in front of her backyard playhouse. Nancy will also soon be part of a breakfast at Disney Junior's Play and Dine at Hollywood and Vine, joining Vampirina, Doc McStuffins, and Roadster Racer Goofy. Sophia, an ad popped up. Sophia the First will be leaving the booth at the animation courtyard in Hollywood Studios to make way for Fancy Nancy.
I think they have to kind of change that up a lot if you think about it, because that whole clientele, the young kid type thing, they come up with a lot of different things. They've got to really keep that up to date, if you ask me. And I think they do a pretty good job of it. I mean, okay. I joke around a little bit. It's not my thing, right? I know it's not my thing, but they really do a good job of keeping it up to date for everybody that enjoys those particular animated tales.
The walkway that links Liberty Square to Fantasyland behind Cinderella's castle is planned to be widened to improve guest flow through that area. The existing narrow walkway is easily blocked by a stroller or two, but widening the walkway will provide more of a convenient shortcut from the central hub area over to Fantasyland. During the work, portions of the moat will be drained and refurbished as well.
I'm still trying to figure out why.
Why they have to drain it?
No. Why do they have to widen that? I mean, I don't want to say for what purpose, but it just seems like.
Think about why they're doing it. What comes up in 2021?
No, I get that part, but it's like it's one of the most underutilized areas.
I think but it won't be. Is what they're going to try and do is having to start pushing people different ways. I guarantee you during 2021, especially once the 50th starts and goes forward from there, you will see a lot of cast members directing people in different ways. So the front of the castle just doesn't get,
Do you think they're going to be a lot more, I'll say, traffic cops, so to speak, trying to push people around?
Yeah. It's almost going to be like the guys at the airport with the giant orange glow sticks that like glide a plane in. They're going to be guiding you, like, go this way. Wrong way.
Wrong way.
Yeah, stop it. Construction also began on the Home 2 Suites and Homewood Suites over at Flamingo Crossing. Most of the walls are down at Jaleo. I never know how to say that one. Jaleo, the new restaurant over at Disney Springs. I'm probably pronouncing it completely wrong.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine.
I'm not going to dive into this tonight. It is something I wanted to talk about in the future, but more offsite hotels to offer the extra magic hours and extend fast pass booking window. I think that's a topic for another day because I know people really want to get into Star Wars, so I'm not going to get bogged down with that. I did read an article. I can't find it as I speak about it, though. It looks like the Fox Century deal, I don't want to say is stalled, but it's got to its final hurdle with some of the owners in Brazil. I know Bob Iger was down there speaking with them, so we'll see what comes of it. You wanted to? I think we should start here because it wouldn't be us if it wasn't. I want to take this close look up at the food and drink at the. All right, so non-Star Wars people know my struggle with this. Batu.
Okay.
Is that the name of it? I don't know.
Batu,
is that what it is?
I believe.
Okay. The new Batu in the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I guess that's the name of it. I will admit I may be putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable. Okay, so you don't know either. Good. I don't feel as dumb. It's going to offer a huge variety of Star Wars themed food and beverages, and there's no less than 6 locations in the land to get it. Surprisingly, though, the Land's Table Service restaurant that was originally mentioned appears to have not made its way into the final product as of now, which I think is a major mistake.
Well, I'll be honest with you. It may not be now, but the fact of the matter is, I bet you any money you're not going to see, you're going to see Galaxy's Edge grow just a little bit at a time. They may not have everything actually opened at the very first day.
But why do we need everything right away?
Are you saying we do need everything right away?
Okay, so that probably didn't come out the way I was saying, but because Disney did this with Pandora as well, they're like, let's just get the land open. We're going to put the bare minimum to keep people happy, and then we'll just keep adding. But years ago, what they did was what they do. They made sure it was 90% of the way. And then they would add and tink, their way around as the years went on. But it seems like to me, it's a never-ending wheel of construction.
Wait a second. Are you finally conceding to my idea that Pandora?
I still don't see how it's going to fit anything, but I'm just saying. I'm using it as an example.
Well, I do. Although I do agree with what you're saying. I mean, it's one of those cases where if there's one thing it's one of those cases where I could definitely say this. Imagineering at its finest hides things in plain sight, including what could be different plans for future growth. And I still say that within Pandora, there's going to be some growth. I don't know when. All I know is that I bet you any money it's going to have something to do with when the next 2 Avatar films are produced and the kind of response they get from that. I'll go ahead and say that. At the same time, when it comes to Galaxy's Edge, I mean, the fact of the matter is, yeah, it's going to be like nothing else. We already know that. But here's the kicker. We already know that the wait times and the crowds and the lines at Galaxy's Edge from day one for a very long time after that the crowds are going to be just large of epic proportion, as biblical proportion even is how big they're going to be. How in the world would you even want to have a table service restaurant among that crowd too? Because I just think that it would be pouring fuel on the fire if you think about it, just in the ability or inability to be able to get in there, however the case may be. And this is just my 2 cents. I do kind of think that Disney is going to try to throttle back just a little bit, but it doesn't mean that the plans will never come back up. You got to deal with this in stages, or otherwise, man, that place is going to explode.
Okay. Hey, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Here's a rundown of all the 6 locations and to look at their food and drinks of each. First up is Oga's, Ogas Cantina.
Mm-hmm.
It is a great place for guests to grab a beverage, catch up on the latest gossip, while R3X, formerly the Star Speeder pilot on the original Star Tours, DJs a collection of new music run by an intriguing alien. Ogagara, this watering hole, invites guests to share their tales from around the galaxy as they enjoy exotic beverages served in unique vessels. Potions with alcohol include Bespin Fuzz, Bloody Rancor. Oh my god, I don't know why I wanted to read this. Dagobah? Who makes these words up, people? Dagobah. You tell me. That's just a bunch of letters in a row. That's not even a word.
I'm not even going to. I'm not going to try to help you, only because it's so darn funny to watch you try.
You don't even know.
Oh, if I was reading it, I'm sure I'd be able to figure it out a whole lot better than you are, you Neanderthal.
Dagobah Slug Slinger, Fuzzy Tantum, Jedi Mind Trick. That's clever. Jet Juice. I like that one too. The Outer Rim. Oh, these are getting better. Spear and Calf. You lost me. T16 Skyhopper and Yub Nub. Non-alcoholic libations include Black Spire Brew, Blue Bantha, Carbon Freeze, Cliff Dweller, Hyperdrive Punch It. I like that one. Jabba Juice. If it's anything like Stitch Juice, you got me. Mugen Tea and Tureen Tea. The provisions include a Cantina mix. Next up is the Docking Bay 7 Food and Cargo. Chef Stronin Cookie Tugs has traveled throughout the galaxy following his long-time gig as the chef at Maz Cantana. Canatas. K-A-N.
You want me to help you? I'm gonna
Yeah, I don't know. What a castle on some land, and it brings exotic flavors and unusual dishes during his traveling. I don't even know. It's called Tug's Grub.
Next time, let me go ahead and read this stuff.
It's just stupid words. Don't make sense. Just call it what it is.
I love how
moof juice. Moof. Like, what is moof? I know I'm saying it right because I sounded it out. Hooked on Phonics gun work for me. Moof,
dude. Listen, thank the Phoenicians, okay? But the fact of the matter is, you're doing the best you can for someone who is not really the biggest Star Wars fan in the world.
Not the biggest. I've never even seen one.
And the funny part is, like Jamie, he's like, it's pronounced Dagobah. It's like we have all of our friends here over in the Behind Ears podcast Facebook page watching us live. They're all like, "Hey, Danny, it sounds like this," and they're all putting little phonetic spellings and things like that. They're awesome. I just think that's really funny. But Mary does say, "Hey, it's like another language."
It is. It literally is another language. Some of the entrees include a braised roast. Featured beef pot roast with pasta, kale, and mushrooms.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You had me going really good there. What's kale in that? Come on.
I'm going to skip all the words I don't know from here on out. So the next item is a chicken dish with roasted vegetables, mash, and herb gravy. We have a meatball dish with herb hummus and tomato cucumber relish with pita bread. We have a garden loaf, a plant-based meatloaf, dish served with roasted vegetable mash, seasonal vegetables, and mushroom sauce.
How do you do a plant-based meatloaf, people? Seriously, if it's not meatloaf, it's plant loaf.
We have a smoked country sticky pork ribs with blueberry corn muffin and cabbage slaw. We have a burrow fish featuring Dijon crusted sustainable fish with mixed greens, roasted vegetables, and pumpkin seeds with a creamy green curry ranch dressing. We also have another roasted chicken with mixed greens, roasted vegetables. I read that. Sorry, my apologies. A noodle salad with marinated noodles with chilled shrimp. Some dessert with passion and coffee custard. The Docking Bay 7 Food and Cargo has 2 children menu options, which include fried chicken with macaroni and cheese and grilled shrimp with vegetables and rice noodles and a sweet orange dressing. So far, I mean, the first one obviously was just a beverage place. Without having a sit-down place, they better have a lot of seating because some of this is going to take some time. Like, you're not grabbing ribs to go.
No, you're not going to do that. But the fact of the matter is there's already a lot there. I mean, Okay, think about it. Hollywood Studios, you've got plenty of grab and go type of stuff. You've got plenty of quick service type of stuff there. Seating is already going to be kind of tricky if you think about it. They're going to have to do some kind of crowd control. Even Anna was mentioning how they're going to do crowd control over at Disneyland, which makes a lot more sense. They're going to have to limit the amount of people that is actually in the land perimeter, type of thing. I mean, very similar like how they did for Toy Story Land's opening, just to try to make sure that it wasn't super duper overcrowded. The problem of it is that in doing that, you're going to limit a lot of different things. So I think we're going to have to see how that goes. But I think a lot of people want to hear more about what we probably think about. about what we're hearing about the rumors and stuff like opening day rumors and things like that and so on. And I think there's a lot of people that are just going, I think there's a lot of people are going crazy over it. And I don't know what to say.
Guess I'm done with the menu.
Well, no, you can
I have
finish.
no other honest rumors though. Like I told you, my guess I know is completely wrong, but I'm still sticking with it because I think Disney's doing all you Star Wartonians. Ooh, I think a new name for you guys. I don't know.
You did that well. No, finish up in the menu side. I'm sorry, that was my bad. I did not mean.
Oh no, if you want to talk about rumors, that's fine. I just don't. And listen. I'm getting roasted on YouTube for my pronunciations. We're gonna get hate mail. At the end of the day, like, if you're new to the show, you wouldn't know it. If you're a long time listener, you know there's two things I don't do, and it's Disney music / movies / TV. That's one, and Star Wars. I outside of that, you want to talk about anything in the park, I'm all about it. I don't know what are the rumors? What are we hearing? What's the word on the street?
Oh well, first off. We all still love you, Danny, even though you have your character trait differences. You know, hey, at least you admit it. At least you don't try to be some kind of poser.
Oh, trust me, there's a couple jokes that I have right here that we would lose half our fan base if I started dropping them about Star Wars. So I'm just
don't do that. Take into consideration, I'm going to be at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago in April.
Yeah,
I don't want to have people, they're going to have my picture, on the digital screen walking in saying, have you seen this guy? And, and they're going to say, you're not allowed to bring lightsabers into here, but you're allowed to go ahead and smack the crap out of Mr. Chris. That's what's going to end up happening. And, I'm really looking forward to it. Listen, I'll be honest with you. My wife and I were talking about this. And it kind of came down to the idea of, they're like, do you even know enough about the Star Wars universe in order to actually hold your own while you're there? And I kind of sat and I thought to myself, I mean, I enjoy the movies. I know a lot of the characters. I know a lot of the plot line and everything else like that. But I know that there are just some people out there that know the Star Wars universe extraordinarily better than I do. I mean, I know the Marvel universe better than I know the Star Wars universe. You ask me anything about most of the Star Trek timelines, I'm actually way on top of that too. My son is the Star Wars geek between us. Yeah, hello. My son is the Star Wars geek between the two of us for sure. But I am looking forward to being immersed into the Star Wars fandom and to really, see what's going on there. Not to mention, I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of the people that are doing cosplays and things like that. I think that's always just so cool because there's so much talent in that artistry that I know I don't have. But anyway, if anybody is going to be going to Star Wars Celebration in Chicago in April, hit me up. I'd love to get together with you. And if you're from out of town, let me show you some of the best pizza in Chicago, right, Danny? Anyway,
keep it in Chicago. Yeah, anyway, back to food. We have Ronto Roasters, a recycled pod racing engine that fires up a spit of exotic meats by a former smelter droid, ADJ8. ADJ8. Guests can even sample some of the tasty Ronto fare when I guess I'm not saying Ronto, right?
No, you spelling out words is just funny.
When customers line up to order, they will encounter a former smelter droid carefully turning the spit of meats and complaining about his job. It didn't go into what they have to eat here, but judging by a picture, it looks like a fruity drink. They have some type of taco set up here. So interesting, but they did not go into it. We have the milk stand, which sounds like something Uncle Danny would like because I can drink a lot of milk. The place to go to get your farm fresh blue milk or green tea direct from. I feel like I've been corrected on this once or twice already, so I feel kind of bad.
Did you miss out on what you're Like, did you have a brain fart already?
Because I feel like I'm gonna pronounce it and it's gonna be wrong, and I feel like I know what it's. All right, is it Boba Wamba?
That's about as close as I think you can get.
Woo! And the family farms. We have another restaurant called The Kettle, one of the many street market stalls. This grain vendor sells the ever popular Outpost Mix, which is a blend of sweet and savory and spicy popcorn. So that'll be something interesting. That's all the food I got for you. That's all the embarrassment I have for myself when it comes to food and pronouncing things.
By the way, I know you're not necessarily a milk drinker.
I love milk.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah. I could drink a gallon of milk. I could drink a gallon of milk in a day if you gave me the option.
I was kind of thinking to myself, blue milk.
Sounds like blueberry milk. That's where my mind went.
That's the thing. You think red, you think like strawberry
or cherry, yeah, but strawberry,
cherry. Yeah. You think brown, you think chocolate. Blue, you think blueberry. I think it's going to play a trick on our tongue and our mind. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like, What
would green be though? Green apple is where my mind went, but
I think lime.
Ew, lime milk?
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that is what it is. I'm saying that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
That's what. Okay, that's what. Okay.
But I also would agree, lime milk.
But even what I guess was still gonna sound green apple milk sounds disgusting. Blueberry milk actually sounds good. I feel like there's a market there.
Well, call Nestle. They may have a little thing with blueberry quick. Sponsored by Uncle Danny.
This isn't me with holding a blueberry.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that, but there are other people are saying, I read some comments, saying, hey, they really need to have some kind of a, a quick or table service, and I'm not saying that they're not going to have that. By the way, Cindy says, Danny, you totally made me smile during this segment. So obviously, you're making people happy.
Cindy also says she thinks it could be mint. That's why my face went that way.
Ooh.
That does not sound good.
Like spearmint? I
don't know, but mint and milk. Have you ever like brushed your teeth and then drank milk? It is not a taste you want in your mouth.
No, between that or orange juice.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah. No. But yeah. So, and by the way, Jamie made a really good comment in regards to I think this is in regards to some of the things I was saying about the Star Wars fandom. He's like, most of the lore of Star Wars that fans love is also books and comics. Absolutely. Because there's a lot more to it than just the movies. And I actually think that it's going to be really big. And I will admit, I am not the biggest Star Wars aficionado, but I really do like the movies. I really enjoy. I just watched episode 2 just on Sunday with my son, and kind of sat back and granted, I know we don't talk about the prequels and this, that, and the other, but
that's funny.
And Jar Jar Binks is annoying as all get out, but that's beside the point.
Bailey says it's the new Club Cool 2.0, not different sodas, just different flavored milks. I enjoyed that. Other things to talk about with Disney, the new look inside the Star Wars Rise of Resistance. This is being declared as one of the most advanced and immersive experiences ever undertaken by Walt Disney Imagineering. Star Wars The Rise of the Resistance looks set to break new ground in theme park experience. A new Resistant recruits. Guests will join a climatic battle against the First Order, including a run-in with Kylo Ren. Their journey will take them inside a full-size starship and aboard a nearby Death Destroyer. In quote at D23, it is more than just a ride. It's a cinematic, immersive experience, calling it one of the most complex things they have ever done. Reardon promises Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is going to be experimental, jaw-dropping. How did they do that moment?
I've been saying this for all along. I mean, if people thought Flight of Passage was going to be a very immersive experience, I think there's a very good chance that is going to redefine, redefine the attraction experience. And I think it's going to spoil it for people, but in a good way. I think it's going to be a really big deal, and I'm really looking forward to it. I just kind of sitting here wondering to myself, when will I be able to look forward to it? Because everybody's talking about also the idea of, when are they going to finally release the date? Stop here and think about this for a second.
May 4th.
Is that when you think they're going to release the date?
No, I think that's... Ooh. Well, no, isn't it opening... What did the sign say that we saw the other day? Spring, right? Or fall?
Well, Disneyland is going to open before Disney World.
Yeah.
We know that. And we know that Disneyland is opening in the summer. And we know that it's going to be the fall for Galaxy's
Okay, so
Edge.
the May does work then. May still be released for Disney World, maybe at least a release date.
Well,
an opening date.
You and I have talked about whether or not we'd actually be able to get down there. And I know you and I, we both still would love to be down there for opening day and, that kind of thing. And I know that many people have been posting that one picture of the person holding the sign that says the line starts here for Galaxy's Edge. And it has, they're at the Welcome to Florida sign. And I know that there's some humor to that, but I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Because I would love to be there, but I don't know how I would handle the crowd.
Laura says, I'm hearing this Thursday the releases of the date.
Everybody's been saying that, and I'm not necessarily sure that is going to be... I really honestly don't know if that is going to be what it is. That was one of the things that I saw post earlier today, and it went like wildfire. And if
that's true, watch those prices skyrocket for hotels.
Well, that's the thing. If you don't already have a booking for like the exact time that's going to start, then you also have to you're done. Don't bother trying, because we saw this with Toy Story. Because the day that the announcement for when Toy Story was going to be, all the prices in some cases almost doubled.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have that already in place, don't bother, because it's not going to happen. So we'll have to see what it goes. Danny and I have always said that we would love to be there, and we would still very much like to be there for that. And to be honest with you, it's going to have to depend on a few things. And I'm going to say this, and it's not going to come out. It's going to sound really crappy of me, and I don't mean it like this. I mean this with love and respect to all of our fellow podcasters and content creators and vloggers and bloggers and everything else like that. Everybody's going to be fighting to try to be there on opening day. And I'll be honest with you, I would love to be down there. I'm not trying to get down there for the bragging rights. I've done
down there type of thing. If it just happens to fall on a vacation, you're cool with it, but you're not going to go out of your way for it.
No. It's not that. I'm not going to be like, we're better than everybody else because I'm there day one. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying others do that either. Because here's the thing. If you can't enjoy it, if you're not going to be able to really enjoy it, are you really going to be able to give people an unbiased opinion of what it's like?
Well, we were there for opening weekend of Pandora, and I felt like we were able to enjoy it. You were there for opening of Toy Story. And
I was able, and at the same time,
this is way bigger. I get that.
Yeah. Toy Story was different, but I got to be honest with you. Here's the thing. When Toy Story made that announcement, we just happened to have our vacation at that time. It just was coinky dink. It really was.
What is Avatar?
Well, we were there we were like there 3 weeks after it was opened.
Oh, I thought it was opening weekend.
No, it was shortly thereafter, but it was very close. And the thing is, that's what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that if I'm there within a few weeks of opening, I'm going to find that to be a success. And I didn't mean my previous comment to sound like it's some sort of real competition. That's not what I'm getting at. It's just, I want to be able to really sit back. I want to enjoy it. I want to be immersed in what has been designed. And I want to be able to tell people what it's really like. And I have a feeling that it's going to be an all-day affair to get into the park itself. And I think the first few days, first few weeks, first few months even, is going to be very difficult to really enjoy in the manner that the Imagineers intended. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I really want to be able to enjoy it. And again, it's because I want to be able to put on a good show and have you and I talk about it with smiles on our faces and really be able to express to people who haven't been able to be there. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And, you know, I do want to be there. I want to be there opening day. I really do. But I'm also kind of thinking of the alternatives, and I will be happy with them. I just don't want to, I'm hoping that they have some sort of media preview that we would be able to go to. So that would be my biggest thing. And so, but you know, the funny part is because it's like, you know, like Laura is saying it's going to be a madhouse times 10. George says, I was there for opening day for Toy Story. All day wait to get into Andy's backyard, and then it rained. Walk on Slinky after the rain. We scored without waiting all day. Yeah, George, I was there. I remember that. I went live in the rain as we were waiting over by the Starbucks for the rain to go by the way. It was actually pretty fun. So, you know, it's really interesting. And Jamie's saying, hey, Chris, you know, you'll see that Star Wars fans travel as they descend on Chicago. I predict a New Year's type of scenario happening at this opening. Yeah, it's going to be something that people are going to travel for big time. I mean, think about this: traffic, nightmare scenario. Trying to get an Uber, probably nearly impossible. You know, your better bet is probably to get an Epcot hotel. You know, that sort of thing. You know, it's going to be really kind of crazy. So, but yeah, I mean, Carol mentioned I did Pandora opening day and it was unreal. And I was so happy to be able to do it. The park did shut down in the morning and was not letting else in until they figured out the crowds. But, when we got there, it was amazing. And, you know, it's one of those things. And, Albert actually also mentioned, for you Run Disney fans, he mentioned, you know, imagine how cool next year's Star Wars marathon route might be. Yeah. Yeah. So, but again, you know what, Danny, I as I've got to think in here, I say a couple different things, right? I guess that just means that we're going to have to make a couple trips out there. Oh boy. You know, so, you know, if you know, I mean, we didn't need those other kidneys or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and do that. You know, we'll road trip down or something like that, or, you know, hey, dude, that's what we should do. We should totally cannonball run it. I'll start in Chicago. You start in Jersey. We'll see who gets down there first.
I mean, I'll win. I think my drive's shorter.
I don't know. Is your drive shorter?
It's 19 hours.
And I'm about 18 and a half.
I drive fast. And I know how you drive. How it doesn't take you 3 days to get there. We once were in a parking lot with a 4-way stop sign for 10 minutes because Mr. Midwest is very generous and waves everybody on. You are very generous. I give you that. I am not. I'm more like, I'm just going to go now.
We're nice people.
Yeah, we're not up here.
By the way, Danny, how many speeding tickets have you gotten?
In my life?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, total?
Sure.
What do you count as speeding? Like an actual speeding ticket?
Yeah, like actual speeding ticket.
I don't know. 15?
0.
Yeah, but it's different. It's different. I used to race cars. So it's different. It's
0.
different.
Goose egg.
Hey, I just got a smoker because I just went 10 consecutive years without an accident. That was my gift.
You got a smoker?
I got
I was like, I was like,
big electric smoker.
It's like, where did
the police station just hands gifts out?
I was like, wow, how did you get a smoker for, you know, anyway. By the way, Mary was like, don't answer that. Yeah. So yeah, it's just, it's one of those things. No, but I, Danny, let me ask you this. Let's just me and you chat here for a minute in front of everybody. If you had a chance to be there down there opening day, you want to go? Seriously. I mean, it's once in a lifetime event, man.
That's what I'm thinking. I miss Toy Story.
I mean, should we really push it and say, let's, do or die,
I just feel like it's just going to be disgusting. Like I saw Chris joke before, I'll be in the parking lot at 2 a.m. He's not out of the realm of being crazy. I mean, the minute they start letting people line up in the parking lot, they will allow people to start lining. Like, it is going to be a nightmare trying to do this. I don't know the quality of what we'll be able to see, what we'll be able to record, what we would be able to do, but I do think it'd be beneficial to be representing ourselves at an opening day. So if the opportunity arose, I would say sure, but I would also not want to pay an arm and a leg for a hotel.
Well, the thing is that I'm, I don't think the hotel is going to be the problem. I don't think lodging will be a problem.
I think once everybody knows the date, it becomes a problem.
I do too. And like George is like, do it. Cindy's like, opening day is going to be history making.
It is.
Mary challenges you in such a way. She's like, I don't think Danny is a big enough fan
of what, Disney or
Star Wars.
I'm not, but I'm not a fan at all. I'm not a big enough fan. I wouldn't even categorize myself as a fan. But I would simply do it for you guys, for the people who don't have the means to make it there and want to see what's going on.
Chris says, do it. And you probably already read this one about Chris being at the entrance at 4 a.m.
Oh, he moved to 4. He said 2 before.
It's like and there was at least 400 people already at that time. Let's see. Some people like, let's see. Cindy's like, stay off property. Star Wars weekend 2008 and 2010 was a madhouse. Albert's like, I live 40 minutes away. Imagine the turnpike traffic.
That I-4 is going to be a nightmare.
It's. I mean,
I'll say yeah. If the opportunity was there, I would say let's do it because it is something that will. I mean, we don't know when the next land is even talked about being developed.
So why don't we go ahead and tell everybody this? We'll make a commitment of this. We are going to do our absolute best that once the opening day is announced, to be able to solidify plans to be there for opening day. We cannot make any guarantees, and I'm sure every other podcaster and content creator, they're going to try to do the same thing. And you know what? God bless them as well, because we're all going to be in the same boat. This is one of those cases. This is the great equalizer.
If anybody else is in the same boat that wants to be there and would like to walk me around through the park, I am a good wedger. I know how to make room. If you could just point things out and say, hey, Danny, this is how you say it, and this is what it is. Oh, actually, I plan on watching a majority of the Star Wars next week, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. I have some time off of work, and a buddy's going to bring them over, and we're going to dive into some. Well, we were planning on getting all of them watched. I just don't think there is enough time.
You can skip episode 1.
I mean, I don't think I should really skip anything because I have no background of anything.
Well, there are some people that say go 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8.
Yes, my buddy did say we are not watching them in release order. We are watching them in the order that they were designed. And he said, just bear in mind, you're going to watch a lot of New Age stuff and then jump back in time. So
okay, well. We're kind of making a commitment to this, and we will do our absolute best, and we will see what we can do, and we're doing it for you guys. It's as simple as that. We are doing it for you guys, and we're really hoping that it works out pretty well. And Disney, if you're listening, we'd love to be there. So can you help us out? So with that being said, Danny, do you got anything else you'd like to bring up on this fine Tuesday evening?
No, I'm good, man.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. It is that time that you may not hear this, but I am pressing this button. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. I am Uncle Danny. That was Mr. Chris, and you just listened to Uncle Danny butcher a lot of Star Wars things. If you like listening, if you liked watching, please tell your friends. Please help spread the word. Follow us on all our social media platforms, like Mr. Chris just told you about. And if Trisha would kill me if I didn't mention this, please join the WDW community Facebook page. And so that's really about it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for lending us some of your time to hear me make a complete idiot of myself. With that being said, don't forget, tuck your kids in tight, wear your seatbelts, and someone please send Uncle Danny a dictionary on how to pronounce Disney words. Until next time, I'll see you later.